Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Vertical Relationship Show with me, your host, Malia. Okay, so I have some cray dreams, prophetic dreams for you today, and it represents the Nile River. The Nile River represents judgment, okay? And I'm going to get into all that. I want to explain my dreams. I want to go into some scriptures. I want to show you the animals that God revealed in my dreams and go from there. Now, the Nile River is a flowing river in the northeastern Africa. The Nile River flows from South to North Africa into the Meridian Sea and passes through 11 countries. God led me to Ezekiel 21, the Lord's sword of judgment. I will draw my sword against every foe in the land from south to north. Ezekiel 21:4. Notice how the Nile runs from south to north. Okay, these are not coincidences. When God is showing you something, I want you obviously to always sit and pray about it, because the Lord gave me these dreams back earlier this year, but I wasn't ready to release it until He was done showing me these things. Just wisdom and understanding of the God's timing on these things. God speaks to us in dreams, and He's speak to me since I was a little girl through symbols. Okay, and He speaks to a lot of prophetic people through visions, through dreams, and these can be objects or animals. Now, God showed me several demons specially associated with the Nile River, and obviously He wants me to talk about them, to release it so we could come up against these things. Back in March 23rd of 2025, I had many dreams of floods in the past, and I still currently do, and this came upon it. This dream was about hippos, believe it or not. I was standing in a body of water with rocks. I was with a black gentleman. He was right beside me on another rock. We noticed all these hippos in the water. There was large rocks. They were all over. They were around us. And I was looking around, and there were two other people, but they were in a distance. And I knew they were with us. These people turned towards us and started running. And we knew something was coming. Then we saw the hippos charging. Okay, it was nuts. And we knew we had to get out of the way. So we had to crawl up on the rock so we would not get trampled on by these hippos. You have to understand that it was water, and the water dried up. It was only the rock formations that stood. And I was saying to the guy next to me, a tsunami is coming and we need to get out of here. It might be worse. It's something about an aircraft, a machine to take us off for safety. I knew that was there, but I didn't see it. Then we were all in a huddle. Another gentleman came up and he called me over. It was like almost like an honor for me to be there to reveal something. That sounds kind of crazy, but I just want you to take away of the hippos. Now, in Job 40:15, Behemoth is representative of a hippopotamus known as the Nile horse or water ox. Some people even will say that's an elephant. So I want you to go look up that scripture, look up the Strong Concordance word, and you'll see that. Then on May 2nd of this year, 2025, I was walking in my neighborhood with my husband. We were going up a hill, and I saw a crocodile to the right of me. And I looked behind to see if my husband, he was beside me. He was like right behind me. Then I turned to the left. I saw another crocodile. It was right by my parents' house. Then I heard a noise, and many of the crocodiles that were hiding in the neighborhood came running out. And they started going one way. They started trampling in one way, like it was a calling to come back, just like the hippo dream I had. God led me to Jeremiah 46:25. He mentions the god Amon, okay, and the god of babies. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this means to nourish, a sun god, Egyptian god, and air. And let me read it to you. The Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, says, I'm about to punish Amon, along with Pharaoh, Egypt, her gods, and her kings, Pharaoh, and those trusting in him. Okay, this is not good. This is not obviously a good message. This is also known as the god of wind, solar god Ra, the god of fertility. I've also looked up, it's the creator god and a fertility god. And then God led me to Ezekiel 20:12-14. And I will dry up the Nile, and I will sell the land into the hand of evildoers. I will bring desolation upon the land and everything in it by the hand of foreigners. I am the Lord, I have spoken. I will destroy the idols and put an end to the images in Memphis. There shall no longer be a prince from the land of Egypt. So I will put fear in the land of Egypt. I will make pathways of desolation. I will set fire to Zoan, and I will execute judgment on Thebes. Okay, that's how you pronounce it. I don't know if Thebes or Thebes. Anyway, so you see how those correlate. Now, Sobek, another fertility god of Pharaoh's, and known as a Nile crocodile. This deity has like a crocodile head, It's like half man, half crocodile. Now, what's interesting about executing judgment is I just released another podcast about executing judgment, fire of judgment. I will link it to this, but go listen to these. Now, this is an ancient Egyptian deity. The god is associated with the Nile. It's often represented as a crocodile-headed human. It's not just a straight-out crocodile, but God will show you these things, and it's up to us to understand them. This deity is related to fertility, military, power. It's supposed to be a protective deity, and it's invoking the protection of others from the dangers presented by the Nile. It was first mentioned in the pyramid text, and worship continued until the Roman period. So some believed that Sobek was the creator of the world, which arose from a dark water and created order in the universe. It was believed that the Nile River was created from his sweat, okay, and therefore he controlled the waters and the fertility of the soil. And that is associated with Egyptian gods as Ra, Horus, and Seth. There's just a lot of information that came up, so I'm just gonna clearly just kind of tell you these things, and it might trigger something in you, what God's been showing you as well. Okay, this deity first acquired a role as a solar deity through the connection of the Horus. He also rescued the 4 sons of Horus. Interesting, because that number 4 has come to me, and God has showed me about 4 different things and the many, many dreams about that as well, which I cannot get into in this podcast. These 4 sons of Horus represented the liver, the lungs, the stomach, and the intestines, and each of those has their deity as well. The Egyptians seemed to have respect and fear for the power of this crocodile, and the results of this, Sobek was seen as, this amazing creature. Now, I want you to take notice here. His right hand has a scepter. I talk about that in my last podcast episode about the power of the right hand. And then the left hand, which is a sign of life, which there's a crosses like this. I want to throw another deity during my research, Khnum. It's one of the earliest Egyptian deities in Upper Egypt associated with the Nile cataract. It held the responsibility of embodying floods, and its imagery was this ram head, but also included a crocodile head as well. It's associated with creation, fertility, and protection. It also means the Lord of the crocodiles and the coming of the Nile. The Nile demonstrates God's power and authority over Egypt. And the Egyptians worshipped the Nile in the form of idolatry and reliance on earthly resources rather than God. And we know that idolatry robs us of our authority. God turned the Nile to blood. Let's not forget that. God and animals were used to sacrifice and used for the blood. People still do that, y'all. These gods still sacrifice animals and people. The Bible talks about the Nile in Egypt, okay? In particular, the Nile is the primary water source of Egypt, which is a part of Africa. The Nile demonstrates God's power and authority over Egypt and all other gods. The Egyptians worshipped the Nile, okay? And just like us, we kind of worship idolatry too, are sometimes worshiping these things in other ways. We have to rely on God, not witchcraft stuff, okay? Because a lot of these are embedded in witchcraft and New Age things, and you think that you're honoring God through it, and you're not, because these things are hidden, y'all. I would have never known these things if God doesn't show me these things. I think sometimes we read the Bible and we just pass through these deities like, oh, no big deal, but go check them out. If God is showing you these deities, there's a reason why, and a lot of them are about sun and moon gods, and I've done another podcast about that. It's all related to witchcraft. It's so crazy that we worship these witchcraft things, these water spirits before the Lord your God. God will overthrow his enemies once we understand the dark powers behind them and come against these water spirits through warfare. And I could go on, but the Lord is just showing a severe warning. I have so many other podcasts about judgments, about the sun, moon gods, spiritual warfare. You have to understand these things, especially if God's calling you up as a prophetic voice. You are going to come up against these things. God's going to test you. The enemy's going to test you. And what are you going to do with that? These messages are not fun, y'all, but they're heedful, okay? Do I want to talk about these things? No, not necessarily. But God has given me a responsibility. He has given me assignment here on earth. I have the responsibility to do these things, and you might as well. So anyway, if you want more resources and help you with your healing, deliverance, understanding the wounded soul, spiritual warfare, go to maliadiana.com, grab my books, courses. I have Christian counseling services to further support you. You must be prepared for the battle. God is looking for pure brides to raise up for his kingdom, which I talk about in my prophetic mentorship. It's our responsibility to do the work. If this helped you, please share it. Please subscribe and feel free to partner with Vertical Relationship Ministries. Blessings.